Good evening, friends. I welcome you all to this workshop, Divine Union. And today we have a session for um, around 2 hours where we would be interacting about this subject, Divine Union, where we are talking about uh, Shiva and Shakti. So I'm just waiting for a few friends to join, and then we'll start off with some interaction, maybe another few minutes. So just stay tuned. We just another few minutes and we'll start off. Okay, I can see a hi from someone here. Okay. Let's see here. So it's kind of my first live video and I'm just trying to see how to share it so that everybody gets to see it. So just doing some R&D here. Okay, great. I see a few people joining here. Great. Yeah, I think we have to tell people to join this so that everybody gets to see the link. Okay, for some reason I'm not able to view page source. How do I share this video? Okay. Yes, hi Chanika. I'm just messaging in the group so that everybody can join us. I think the direct link is not coming for some reason. for the Facebook Live, and I hope everyone is able to see. Okay, do we have anybody here? Can I see some hi, hello, so that I know you're listening to me? I think Shushmita is joining. Great, I think somebody joined there. Can I see any hi, hello from anybody so that I know I'm talking to someone, or shall we wait for a few more minutes, maybe another couple of minutes before we uh, get into the live session? Yeah, I now see people joining. Hello there. Good evening. I'm happy to meet you all today. I can see few, like 6, 7 people joining. That's great. Another a minute or two, and then we start off with the session. Okay, let me see here. Hi Rajesh, I can see you here. Sura Reddy, hi Sura Reddy. I'm even happy to meet you. It's very nice that you are here today. Thank you. Moparna, I can see you there. Hello Moparna, thank you for coming. I see Ashwini. Wow, excited to meet you all today. Yes, we can start in a couple of minutes, maybe another 1-2 minutes, and then we get over to our session today. Okay. Okay, friends, so let us start by settling down. If you can find a comfortable place for yourself, so that we can start off with this energy, this beautiful energy of divine union. And here we are talking about the divine union uh, inside us, right? So it's not the outside union, right? So just settle down, relax your body, find a comfortable place, and tune in into this Shiva Shakti that is inside us, inside all of us. That's what we want to touch today. Shiva and Shakti, these two dynamics that keep working all the time in our life, right? So just take a moment to take a few deep breaths so that we get attuned to this energy. Today, we all are gathered here to learn about this divine union within us. To awaken this energy which is there in us. Acknowledging the Shiva and Shakti within us. So we are all here today as Shiva and Shakti. Just another deep breath, friends, and can open our eyes. Right. So when we talk about divine union, friends, let us start by understanding what is this divine union, right? So it is about the union of consciousness and energy, right? So if I can ask you a few questions, just to have an interaction. What do you understand by consciousness? What is energy? What is consciousness? How do we define it? Any guesses? Anything anybody wants to share? So we keep hearing about these terms, right? Consciousness, energy. How is consciousness different from energy? Okay, so consciousness is something that was there. It was like before the start of this universe. It was already there, right? And so we can call it like nothingness. But actually, it's not nothingness. It is something. It is a deep intelligence that was there. So the story goes like this: the consciousness, the nothingness, got bored with itself, right? And it wanted to play with itself. So it divided into two parts. One is this pure consciousness, and one is energy. The pure consciousness, we call it Shiva, and energy is anything that we can perceive through our senses. Either we can touch, feel, smell, through our physical body or like etheric body, anything that has a shape, either in a gross shape or in a subtle shape. So that is energy, right? And that is where the karma has started, when these two energy got separated. That is the starting of the karma. That's the first karma, the origin of karma, right? And so we go into the understanding today of this consciousness and energy in terms of uh, more in a practical sense, friends, because we won't go into very high definitions of Shiva and Shakti. We would rather go into the practical applications of Shiva and Shakti. So I have many case studies to share with you today. I'm going to share my story also, so that you know why I'm talking about this. So basically, Shiva Shakti, it's a great transformative tool for liberation. These two dynamics, right? And we will understand Shiva Shakti, and also we will go beyond it. So to start off, friends, I'll start with my story. I'll tell you why I'm talking, what I'm talking, why I'm interested in these workshops. Basically, I was born with a gender identity disorder, so to speak. I don't consider it as a disorder now, because I know what learning I had from it. So I was born with a physical female body, and I always felt that I was a male, right? So that was my feeling as a child. I always played with boys and toys that boys play with. But then when I started growing, my teenage started becoming very hard, right? I was very confused about my gender and sexuality. In a way, my gender and sexuality was suppressed. My expression was suppressed. my creativity was suppressed, my intelligence was suppressed. So, because everybody was telling me that I am wrong, you should behave what you are born with, what you are born with. But my heart, I had a different feeling. I was very masculine uh, from my heart. So I know that, there in my heart, uh, my gender is male. But because of this confusion, I had to go through a lot of struggle, friends. And these two questions I have been asking throughout my life. What is to be a male? What is to be a female? It was so confused. Anybody I used to ask this question, they never gave an answer that I could agree to. So I started visiting many people. Like, I went to different gurus, I went to different psychiatrists, I went to different people to find my answers. But I was not able to get any answer until the time I could I met Dr. Newton. And I went through a regression workshop with him, past life regression seminar, which I have done with him. And then a very different dimension of perception opened to me. It was like opening of many doors and windows. It was a release for me, right? And then through my inner work, I could understand, why am I facing this difficulty, right? I was like carrying a lot of blockage, blocks from my past. Like, when I say past, it was a past from my childhood, it was a past from my past lives. And I was able to work on those blocks, and I could come out of that. And the more I was working on the blocks, the more I was feeling more masculine in my identity, right? And there was a time that came that I had to take a decision on my transition, physical transition, because nowadays we have this medical facility developed for people like us. We can be helped. So I went through this transition, a physical medical transition from a female to male, right? So I have like a polarity, living in these two different, very two different, you can say, poles, like as a female. And then I completely shifted my energy, and becoming a male, and then grounding into the male body. So from this journey, this entire journey, it is like a spiritual journey for me. It is like a sadhana for me, because when I was in my body, I did not rejected being a female. I said, whatever it is, I need to know the truth. But the more I was knowing the truth, more, my soul wanted to express myself as a more of a masculine in this, world. So this story, friends, had inspired me. My own story has inspired me to talk to people, because it is like these things are like a taboo in the society, right? We don't speak about it. We don't want to face it. It's all like hidden somewhere, right? So I have these kind of stories, like some case studies also interesting, which I'm going to share. So let us see what we will learn. Why do we want to even do this session? What are we trying to learn? So basically, I think, nowadays there is I get like 80-90% of the cases on relationship issues, right? A man is not able to understand a woman. Woman can't understand a man. And, there are many divorces. Many people, they are not interested in marriage. They don't know what the marriage is. They don't know how to balance. There are female who either they are too feminine. There are males who are either too masculine. And sometimes there are women who are more masculine. There are men who are more feminine. So there is like a disbalance in our understanding. It's not that it has to be like this, but there is a disconnection. We are confused about gender and sexuality somewhere, right? So another way, so we will learn how to, we will talk about these, how to balance this. What is this masculine and feminine? What are these two energies? How can we balance it? What is sexuality? right? What is this sexual energy, which we don't want to discuss, we don't want to talk about, right? So also it will help in our spiritual progress. It's a tool that helps in the spiritual progress. It would help to let go of the confusion regarding sexuality, and it will give us a direction to come out with our own creativity, our expression, which is locked somewhere. So people often come to me complaining about low energy, low self-esteem, there's body shame, right? The more they know their inner Shiva and Shakti, uh, the more they are connected to their real nature, divine nature, and the more they can come out of all these issues, right? So for me, friends, I look at the entire universe as Shiva and Shakti. So any issue, you will see there is a polarity, right? And we need to learn how to work with polarities. Basically, our understanding from this session would be to handle polarities, right? So I have few interesting sessions, like small sessions to share, where we will be knowing how to deal with polarity, and also how to balance, right? So let us start with understanding gender, friends. So let us see, what is your idea on gender? So if I ask you, what is gender? So what are your thoughts? Can you just put some comments so that I know that I'm with you, you are all with me? What is gender, friends? Any answers? So we see these signs when we go to the washroom, right? These two different signs, uh, a male body sign and a female body sign. So is it what gender is, or is it gender is like male and female? What is gender, friends? Yes. Anybody can help us? Moparna, Ashwini, Rajesh, Sura Reddy, Rashmi is here now. Welcome. Parimal, welcome. Anybody? Okay. Identity, great. Male or female, Parimal, great. Okay. Okay, I think Chainika is posting a question. What happens when there is an imbalance? Okay, okay. Yes. So we'll talk about what happens when there is an imbalance in the masculine and feminine, right? So this is where we are talking, we go off balance. So definitely we can get into a lot depression, anxiety, which is there in our life, confusion, imbalance of masculine, feminine, and this leads us to all kinds of imbalance. Because you see, friends, this sexuality and gender, it's like a pure energy, the kundalini energy is what we can also term as sexual energy. So anyway, we are coming into that question. Thank you for the question. So yes, Mopanna says identity and Parimal says male or female. Great. So now if I ask you all to close your eyes for a moment and tell me, can you feel your gender inside? When we close our eyes, can I feel my gender? Can I tell what I am? Hmm? Yes, so the answer is no, right? Because gender is an identity which is external, friends. But I would like you to know that there is something called an internal gender also. What is that internal gender? That is what we call the androgynous soul. So internally, we are both masculine and feminine, right? So we have both the characteristics inside. Inside, we are both male and female, right? So let's do another exercise here, friend. It's interesting to learn through exercises. Now, if I give you a fill in the blanks, let's say when I look at you, for example, you're looking at somebody, I see dash. So what would you put there? When I look at you and you're looking at a person, I look at dash. Okay, so I'll help you with the answer. Maybe it's not clear. So when I look at you, I can say I can see a handsome man, or I can say I can see a beautiful woman, or if I know this name of a person, I can address, right? Okay, so we see something, right? Some external form. Now, look at a different perspective of it. So if I look at you, for example, I'm looking at Moparna, and I'm telling her, when I look at you, I see myself. How does this sounds, friends? Tell me, where is my attention? Where am I looking? Where is my focus, friends? Yes? Any answer? Yes. So the focus is basically on the soul, it's the consciousness that I'm looking at. So I'm just not stopping looking at the gender, or how the person looks, how the nose of the person is, how the eyes of the person is, uh, did the person has good hair, addressing the person looking beyond gender, right? So these two things is what we need to learn, right? So always we need to understand anything outside us, friends, it's a mirror, right? Eventually, people, we are looking for the right partner. As a man, I would be looking for the right partner, right? So that intimate relations that we look for, right? These intimate relation, that intimate, for example, if I'm a man, that intimate feminine, it's inside myself. So initially, yes, we do get attracted, we have relation, nothing wrong with that, but gradually we need to find that uh, feminine self, or for a female, let's say the masculine self inside us, right? So it's our own inner feminine, that perfect inner feminine that I am looking out for. Or for a woman, it is the perfect inner masculine that she's looking out for, right? So we are defining these terms a little bit more. I hope you understood the mirror concept, right? This is the entire, the universe is all about this concept of mirroring. We are seeing Shiva and Shakti all the time. We are all Shiva and Shaktis here, right? And more we are Shaktis because we are in this gross form, right? So that is the reason it says to know the mother first. It's important. That's the reason, friends, I always say Shakti before I say Shiva. So for me, I'm because I'm more closer to the mother. For me, it's the mother, and then it says when you know the mother will show the face of the father one day, right? So knowing the mother, so important. So not to run away from this physical plane, friends. Many of the spiritual seekers, they want to avoid the spiritual plane, this physical plane, because they want to go into the spiritual plane. So this Shiva and Shakti, you will see many traditions. We talk about Shiva Shakti, right? Like you can say yin yang. The Chinese culture, they have yin yang. Then Tehuti and Sheshat. If you read the Egyptian, the scriptures, you'll see they have talked about the same concept there. And for example, let's say Adam, Eve, which is very known to us. These are the dynamics. These are the polar dynamics. So today, as I said, we will get into the more practical sense of it. What is the practical uses of it? Now, it has been seen by scientists, when they have uh, done research on human zygote, a baby which is being formed. When the baby is there in the stomach, it is androgynous, right? And there are beautifully they have done the research where they have seen, even when the baby is growing, it is according to what kind of hormones being secreted at that time, you know so it is like, if there is more testosterone at that time the baby is getting formed, so possibly the chances are of the zygote, which has the property of both, it is turning into a man, or a male child, right? And for example, if the estrogen is more, then it is turning into a female child. So it has been researched in various ways. Even research has been done in chicks, for example, hen. It says that the eggs, if you keep it in a certain temperature, they would be female. And if you keep it at another temperature, they would be turning into male. So you see, it's a very thin line. It is not like very gross, these two energies that we operate on, right? So for understanding the feminine, so let's go first into the understanding of the feminine, and possibly then we go into the masculine. So feminine is about more of a receptive energy, right? So am I receiving? So it could be for anybody, it could be for a male or a female. Am I receiving? Do I receive? Do I know how to receive? And masculine is more of a giving concept, right? And we need to learn how to receive and give through this. Now, let us take like a story. Let's talk about relationship, for example. Now, I heard many of my clients would come up with a difficult relationship. They don't know how. The man says, I'm just done with my wife. I don't know what she's looking for, right? I don't understand her, right? So um, what we need to know, for example, I'll give you a simple story, right? It's about a man and a woman. So this man, he is, let's say his name is John, and let's say the wife's name is Jill, right? So John is very upset because his best friend did not call him for a long time, right? So he's just thinking, why my friend is not calling me? He's feeling lonely, right? And he is thinking, shall I share this with my wife? Then he's thinking, if I share with my wife, she will say something weird. I won't understand her, because John does not understand his wife. So, but anyhow, he said, to his wife, Jill, John told Jill that, Jill, I'm very sad. My friend did not call me for a long time. I'm just feeling very sad. So what Jill told John was that, you know what? Yesterday, my neighbor's dog was about to drown in the swimming pool, right? And he just escaped. That's the answer Jill gave to John. So if John has not awakened his divine masculine, he would probably not know how to listen to his wife, right? He would possibly say, come on, what? I told her something so important in my life, and see the kind of answer she gave, right? But if John is he has awakened his divine feminine, he will become a divine masculine to understand. So he needs to understand his own feminine in order to understand his wife, right? So if he has awakened his divine feminine, he would know how to read the emotions behind his wife, not to go into her words, but to look at the emotion behind her, right? So it can be that she is talking about something alarming, right? And now when John is this divine, he has awakened his divine masculine and feminine, he goes and calls his friend, right? And his friend is very low in his voice, and he's saying, you know what, I was just almost bankrupt, and all my business, money, everything, my business is in a shutdown mode, right? So now John understood why his friend was not calling him, and his wife had already given him a hint about this through her talking about the drowning dog, right? So, friends, it's an art to understand a male and a female, right? There are many wonderful books in order to do that. There are many masters who are doing a lot of research on understanding the masculine and feminine balance, right? One of the very common books are, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. You can read the book. There's another author called David Deida. He's an amazing person. He does a lot of workshops on men and women relationships. The kind of story that I shared is from one of his books, right? So this is how, when you awaken your divine masculine feminine, you can deal with relationships better. And like people not interested in marriage, for example, I'll give you another example of a woman which I worked. I remember this case very well because she came with a issue. She's from the States, and she was in India, visiting India, and then she told me, I'm a green card holder, and I went to US myself, and um, I have done everything that I could, but somewhere I feel very stuck in my life. I'm not able to come out from this feeling, and I think if I can release this stuck feeling, I can do a lot more work than what I do. So I I was working with her, and we went to few lives. I did a regression for her, and she has seen few lives where she was a female, and but somehow we were not going to the root of the problem. Where is this stuck feeling coming from? She's successful in her life, but she's not happy. She still feels stuck. And when I look at her, um, I still remember her face. She's very, very feminine, like very like delicate, very feminine. And during our conversation, I just asked her, um, so do you like how is your connection with males, right? So she said, it has never been like great. She has not been into relationships, in and out. That's what she was sharing. And I said, have you ever tapped into your inner masculine? And the moment I said that, she actually held herself a little, and she said, no, I'm a female. There's no masculine. That's how her reaction was. So basically, I knew where to work. So in the next session, I told her to go into a masculine life, though she has resistance. But because she was trusting the session, she went into a masculine life. And this masculine life, it was very difficult. He, like, in that life, she was almost starving and dying, very lean and thin. It was a very hard life. And we were able to process it. That stuck feeling was coming from that life, and she was able to breathe out all the body pains and all, and she was able to own her inner masculine, right? Because of this very hard life as a male, somewhere in her consciousness she was rejecting the masculine, right? So after she had she was able to progress in what she is doing, and have better relationship in her life with men, right? So these are few examples, friends, where we understand how this masculine and feminine work within us, right? So any questions, anybody wants to ask any question? Yeah, any questions anybody has? Okay, are we going good so far? Shall I continue? Yes. Okay, I was guessing that this won't be an interaction where I would be talking to you, but I still think that possibly there are ways to send messages on and all, so that we are in touch. Okay, so let us now understand, friends, about little about being feminine, right? What is to be a female? So, as I said, female is about receiving. Now, let us understand what receiving is, right? So, receiving is not only receiving gifts, right? Receiving is about, it could be receiving compliments. So, we can ask ourselves, do I receive compliments? Am I open to compliments? Yes, mostly no, right? Do I receive a touch? Do I receive a hug? Am I open to it? Hmm? When somebody is cuddling me, do I receive it? Am I open here? Right? These are the receiving qualities, friends. It's very important to understand this first feminine trait. There are many, it is about a lot of things, but this receiving aspect is so important. Am I receiving help? If somebody is coming and helping me, am I receiving it fully? Hmm? So I feel when next time when we are receiving something, we should breathe. If you see there is a resistance, if you observe there is a resistance in receiving, we can breathe and receive it. Right? It's a beautiful way to receive, friends. Receive inspiration. Am I receiving time? Do I receive time? Do I give value to time? When somebody is giving their time, do I value their time? Yeah. Do I receive beauty when I'm in the nature? Am I allowing the beauty to touch me? Is my heart open? Yeah. Am I receiving love? So when we see small kids, they are so open, they're so receptive. We can see all these things very easily with a small child, right? So friends, more we receive, we need to understand, more we receive, our receiving vessel expands. So when I have a bigger vessel, I will receive more in life, right? So basically, the Shiva and Shakti, when we talk Shiva and Shakti, they have departed out of love, out of play. That is how our ancient text has rightly defined as it's a play, it's a Maya, and they want to again unite back. Similarly, we are the miniature of this bigger Shiva and Shakti. And same is our journey, right? We have separated somewhere from the other half. We have been separated into two halves. We keep looking for this twin flame or the soulmate, whatever we want to call it, right? We have been separated and we are always looking for that union again, back into that union, right? So this is about femininity. What else is femininity? It's the creative nature, it's the intuitive nature. So I need to ask myself, am I using my intuition? Whether I am a male or a female, there needs to be a balance with the left and the right brain. Too much of logical, intellectual work, may not help us. We need to relax. We need to have more intuition, right? And creativity. And also, the feminine is about allowing. Do I allow life to happen? Am I flowing? It's about flowing. Yeah. So that is feminine energy, and masculine is about giving. So it's more of a energy that is that is like a giver, right? So how to utilize the masculine energy is standing up for something. Do I stand up for something in my life? It could be anything. Do I stand up for animals? Do I stand up for plants? Anything. Standing up for something, taking charge, taking responsibility. Masculine is about structures, right? It is getting into a structure, building. It is about protecting. It is about serving, right? These are the qualities we need to question ourselves. What happens? Am I structured, right? If I'm not structured, then I won't be able to manifest on this earth plane. Both is required, friend. The receiving and the giving aspect. We need to have a balance between the two. Okay, so what are the other things that we can learn from this masculine and feminine? Another very interesting phenomenon of learning is to balance, right? How do we balance? Right now, we'll do a quick process. It's a very beautiful process, friends. Quickly, we can balance ourselves very easily. I call it tree meditation because I like it. I somehow I have very deep connection with trees, right? And we can experience this. Okay, so I'd like you to settle down wherever you are. Just be comfortable, nice and easy, sit relaxed. And if you want to close your eyes, you can. It's good to do that. If not, it's okay. Just be comfortable and just take a deep breath and out. Just stay in your heart. We'll do it for like just few minutes, maybe 2-3 minutes. It's a quick exercise. Just feel the heart energy, feel your heart. Feel the heart energy, and you're breathing in and out of this heart energy. Sit very relaxed and calm the way you want. Let your body be limp and loose. Now from the heart, let your attention or feel the energy going down into your sacral and root chakra. So you're feeling the base of your spine there, around that area. Put your attention there, right? Where the sexual organs are. Just put your attention there. And now imagine that there are roots growing from your lower body. Just like a tree, you're growing roots. And this root is going deep down into the earth. If you're sitting on the floor, it's nice to feel the floor sometimes. If you're on a chair, just you can put your feet down and feel the cool floor. This mother energy, man. Just imagine your roots are going deep, 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 deep down inside the earth. It's going to the center of the earth. This huge roots. It's growing from your body. It's going into the earth, inside the earth. And it's coiling at the center of the earth. And as it coils, you're feeling a pull downwards. And as you feel the pull, I'd like you to take deep breaths, inhale from the roots back into your body. You're breathing into the lower part of your body from the roots and releasing any tension, any worries, any thoughts that is coming to you right now. Breathing from the roots into the lower part of the body and releasing. Letting go of anything that is there, like a heaviness. And release. The Mother Earth, the earth can handle everything. Very good. Now feel the energy at the base of your spine, near your sexual organs, any feeling there. And let this feeling come back to the heart. Put your attention on your heart. The heart is feeling more open, more light. Now from the heart, I'd like you to go up into your crown. Let the energy go up into the crown. And from the crown, just imagine or feel that you're growing branches. Branches of a tree. And it's going up above the clouds, above the sky. Going into the stars and the galaxies. Milky Way. Now imagine those branches coiling there. And now you're breathing from stars and the galaxies into your mind, into your head, into your crown. And release anything that is not required at this moment. Breathe. And release. The beautiful Shiva energy, the Father energy. And release it. Feel this divine connection. And bring this energy back into the heart. Come back to the heart. You're breathing in your heart. Stay in your heart for some time and just feel this loving energy in your heart. Very good. Slowly, we can start coming back. And rub your hands, put them on your eyes if you feel like. Come back. Okay, great. Now I see some questions. Chainika has written some question. What does it mean to be person to be transgender? And I see questions. Okay, let me answer a few questions. Now, transgender people, they have a conflict with their body and mind. For some reason, they are not able to align their body, mind, emotion, and the soul aspect together. So they are in uh, uh, they sometimes there are confusion in them, right? So transgender, basically, friends, it's an umbrella term, and there are different issues with transgenders, right? Sometimes they are not able to align. Sometimes they are able to align, and they just want to be what they are, and they would say that I am in a female body, but I feel very masculine, and that's what my identity is, right? So there could be people that would say that I am in a different, like a male body, but I feel very misfit in this male body. I want to be a female. I want a female body. So they are called transsexuals, right? So there are different categories, friends. Like, when I say categories, for me, how I see it is, it's like, like a color. You hold a bunch of color in your hand and you sprinkle it on water. You get some combination there, right? So it's about a mix and match of different colors. That's how I see what gender is. Basically, whatever their expression is, I feel we need to first accept them as they are. That's the first thing, what I would like to talk about transgender, right? So in transgender also there are various categories, like how in human we have different people, right? So we need not be bothered about that. First, friends, we need to see people as souls, as divine beings, and it's okay to choose whatever gender they want, because it's their own dance. They want to dance in a certain way, right? And it's like a combination of things. It's not, they don't adhere to that strict male and female concept which is there in the society, right? So that's what I feel how we can define transgender. And I see some more questions. Okay, I want to know someone's gender identity. Okay, I think that's quite answers. Why do people identify as transgender, queer? Okay, so as I said, I think more questions are on that. Okay, so Ashwini has asked a question: what we feel of ourselves, strength or love? So I didn't get the questions very right. Maybe Ashwini, if you can elaborate, I can comment on it on a better way. Right? So we are both strength, we are both love. We need to know how to balance both of them. Okay, now friends, let us hop into some other subject. Let us go more into the understanding of masculine and feminine. Now, as we defined, or we were understanding masculine, feminine, let us now understand what is to be there's something also to be a unhealthy feminine, unhealthy masculine, healthy feminine, healthy masculine. So let's say, what is an unhealthy feminine? Unhealthy feminine is about being, you can say, insecure. It's about unhealthy feminine. So always an unhealthy feminine, she would seek for outside validation, right? Because she feels very insecure inside, right? And healthy feminine, in contrast, can turn this insecurity, when she can look into this insecurity, she or he, because we are looking into the inner feminine, and it can turn into more of a grounded feeling, right? So that female would have strong boundaries, right? And she would have uh, like a presence, right? So this is unhealthy feminine and unhealthy masculine. We all have these things, and we need to know how to turn it around, friends. Like, for example, let's take unhealthy masculine. You can say they are competitive. They always want to win. They want to go. They are in a rat race. They always want to win, right? But healthy masculine, when the masculine, I'm using the words masculine and feminine not to confuse with male or female, right? So the masculine, when works with this competitive nature, he knows how to hold space. So he is like like a huge tree, like giving shades to so many, right? So he's always present and he allows whatever is happening, right? So that is how we can define unhealthy masculine and unhealthy feminine here. Okay, so let us now go into this subject. Many times we see this. I work with people who wants like spiritual progress, and they don't want to. Um, they want to renounce the life. They don't want to get into the life uh, so much, right? So somewhere, if you see the Shakti and Shiva dynamics, somewhere this person is rejecting Shiva. Sorry, Shakti, right? Shakti is the manifest. Shakti is creation, right? So it is like when we reject one part of this entire thing, how can we reach to the other, right? So rather, if we can accept Shakti, accept the life as it is, we take responsibility of our life, right? Then only it's like developing the roots, friends, like how we did this meditation right now, right? First, we need to develop the roots. Then, the more deeper the root, the more higher the branches will go, right? So, also, we can work with spiritual growth with this, right? So, let us now go into some practical application of this divine union, friends, which I have noted for you. So first is where this divine union is coming is, it's a very basic concept. So when we are meditating, we are getting ideas, we are getting visualization, right? Many intuition, many knowledge we are drawing through this meditative inner process, right? And when we are putting that knowledge into execution, that is the masculine, right? So, for example, an architect is getting the image of where does the image comes from, friend? Anything that we see around you, for example, you're seeing a furniture or anything, where do you think it was before it was manifested? It was in the subtlety of some person's mind, right? That is the inner feminine, right? And then the manifestation happened, right? So the architect made the bridge, he constructed the bridge. So likewise, we can uh, meditate and get ideas and put it into practice. This both is very important. Many people, they are just meditating, they're getting ideas, they know a lot, they're very knowledgeable people, but they're not sharing it, they're not putting it into manifestation, right? So this is one application, this practical application of the divine union, Shiva and Shakti. Another thing that we will see, the very common use of Shiva Shakti, or you can say yin yang in the Chinese medicine, friends. How is the body? Is it more on the hot side or the cold side? If you study Chinese medicine, you will see their entire medical science is based on this two aspect. How the body is, and so what you can do is, sometimes I have applied these principles. Maybe you can try it whenever I am like in a too much hurry. I generally screw things. Something or the other will happen wrong and it will ruin it, right? So what I have started practicing is, when I'm in a too much hurry, I'm getting very late, I don't have time, the watch is running fast, tickling, what I do is I slow down. So you can try this, and you will ask me, how will it help? Now, this is something that is more experiential. Slow down, be in the present moment, breathe, right? And I tell you, friends, whenever I have been aware, because I'm still a student, I'm still learning how to do this, but whenever I have done that, whenever I've slowed down, I have never failed any meeting. I was always there on time. Everything went smooth for me, right? So you can experiment with it. So, okay, let me see. I have some questions here. Ashwini, she's saying, actually, I defined what I meant by gender. Okay, got it, Ashwini. Great. And Chainika is asking, how can gender imbalance affect our life? Great. So, uh, did I answer this question? Okay. Anyway, what I think that is what I'm defining right now, Chainika, like the yin yang, right? So what happens is if we are not balanced, if there is too much of heat in the body, right? So it's like let's say if there is too much of masculine energy, it can be very destructive, or we won't be able to understand the inner intuition, and inner guidance won't be available, right? So this man or woman who is full of masculine energy is very mechanical, right? And the life would be full of uh, you know accidents, and not accident as in physical accidents, but no planning, no structure, no guidance as such. And for example, the other way, if a person has a very too much of a feminine energy, what would happen is this person is more on the intuitive side only. There is no manifestation for this person. So the person knows a lot of things. They can intuit, they can sense, but they are not putting it into action. So I think, Chainika, thank you for the question. I think I answered this. And we are also talking about yin and yang, how to balance this. So friends, if you are interested, maybe you can look for Chinese medication. I'll read out a few things. And I don't know if you will be able to see this picture on my phone, which I am about to show you. See if you can see this. Yes. So no, I think the yang is not available. Only you can see the black portion. Anyway, so let me just read it out. Yang is about heat, restlessness, changes, acute diseases, insomnia, red face. So it's about getting hot, even constipation, right? And yin is the cold side. It would have symptoms like a pale tongue, sleepiness, chronic disease, curling up, pale face, pale or cold limbs. These are the symptoms of too much of yin, right? So what the Chinese doctors, they do, they look into these two things. Any problem, they will first look into the yin yang, and they would either give medication or they would give some advices to balance these two energies, right? So this is what we understood by yin yang. Also, the dynamics of men and women. I was giving you the story of men and women, understanding how to read the woman's intuition, her feeling. Look at the woman beyond her words. And if the woman wants to understand her man, she can look into, she can know her own inner masculine, right? So she needs to be more practical in order to understand a masculine, right? So here, now I'm going to share something very interesting, to work with polarities, friends. Like Shiva Shakti, yin yang, we are always faced with polarities in our life, right? So how do we conquer these polarities? So for example, I'll give you one of my example from my life, because that's the best example that I can give. I had a long contradiction of getting up in the morning. I wanted to be a 5 a.m. guy, and I have been struggling with this 5 a.m. every morning, right? So what happens is, one part of me says, oh, you don't have to be so hard at yourself. Let this thing come naturally. Don't wake up, right? It's okay if you get up at 6:30, chalega, like this. Another part of me, is very strict, saying no, it's the Brahma Muhurta. It's such a fresh hour. There is so much things that I can do if I get up at 5. I should get up, right? So I have been these two very conflicting energies that I have been working with in my life. So how to work with this energy, friend, is, for example, let us do it together, friends. I would like you to imagine something that is contradicting in your life, like the example I gave. Just I'll give you a minute. Just think of something that is contradictory, and then we'll do this very simple exercise in order to understand how to work with this. Exactly. Rashmi is saying mood swings are also due to imbalance. Exactly. So we can have depression, mood swings, any chronic disease also. What happens is these gets, if they are in our being for a long time, it can get into chronic diseases. So friends, we are thinking of something that is like a polarity that is contradicting in our lives, right? Okay, so let's just feel that one of the conflict is on your left hand. You're placing your left hand on your left thigh, and the one of the conflict is on the right hand. Okay, so for me, it's like I want to sleep. I want to get up at 6 o'clock, and right hand is I want to get up at 5 o'clock. Right now, we need to talk to both these polarities. So I'm asking my left hand, what is your need? So, friends, we're questioning one of our polarity. What is your need? And we are listening to the need of one of the polarity. For example, in my case, the need is my body needs more hours of sleep. I need more rest. Right? And then I'm asking my right side, the other polarity, what is the need? So my need is I I want to learn, I want to grow more, right? So I want to utilize my time in a better way. So that's the need of my other polarity, right? So, friends, now we know the need of two polarities. If you're able to find out, it's great. If you're not, that's great. Maybe it will come to you. Okay. Now just feel that you're in a state that you are with the two hands on your lap, and imagine that your awareness, your consciousness is growing, and you're containing both the polarities in your consciousness. You're not judging it. Both are right. And I'm just imagining that my consciousness, my awareness is growing, and I can see or feel a synchronicity within my two hands, right and left. There is a beautiful flow of energy within the two polarities. There is a charge. So, friends, this is a way that we can apply in our daily lives to work with polarities, right? Not to reject anything. And containing the two polarities, though they are different, we can still contain the two polarities uh, in our awareness. And this is what has happened to me. When I did this, I said, okay, I'm not rejecting any of the polarities. Both are correct. They are both a part of me. I'm both yin and yang. I'm both male and female. I'm both positive and negative. Though I choose to express myself as a male, but inside I'm both, right? So when I accepted these polarities of getting up in the morning and not getting up in the morning, what has started happening is at sharp 5 o'clock, my sleep is getting over, and naturally I'm waking up, right? That means I was able to integrate it. Now I am waking up with a lot fresh mind. I don't have to struggle getting up. So I'm getting up with a fresh mind, and I'm enthusiastic, and I'm happy that I got up in the morning, right? So try this experiment and you can let me know. Okay, let me see. There are a few questions here. Abhi Joshi is saying, nowadays with women also joining the professions considered masculine and requiring more masculine traits like police forces, etc., won't it make them imbalanced as they are required to express more of their masculine side? It's a wonderful question, Abhi. Thank you for this question. Um, uh, it's exactly, for the woman, or if the woman is like um, a police force, right? She needs a lot of masculine energy. So she's, that's the kind of blend she wants to be in, which is beautiful. Okay, so she goes to work and execute her masculine energy. But we need to know that when this same woman, she comes home and she's with her husband and the child, she is a mother. She becomes of more of a feminine energy, right? So that is the switch, friends. We need to know how to switch, right? What is my expression? What is this switch? How can I balance these two energies is what we learn. So it is not that, she would be masculine at home, because one pole can be masculine. If there are two males in the house, then there would be problem, right? That's what is happening. That's what the imbalance is all about. But that's what we need to balance, friends, through this sadhana, to understanding this divine Shakti and Shiva. There are many ways in order to deal with, to connect to that inner Shiva and Shakti and ignite that, so that we get more Shakti, right? All of us needs more Shakti, that divine Shakti, right? So when we start doing this inner sadhana, this inner search, we can ignite this. And this woman that Abhi Joshi is talking about, she can very well manage. At her office, she can be this very masculine energy because she's a police, and at home she can come back to her feminine self, right? So it's like a switch, it's like a dance, right? So it requires balance. Okay, let me read another question from Ashwini. Ashwini says, I can see myself intuitive but with unhealthy feminine, that is insecurity, and with masculine I can give space but can't manifest ideas and understand the responsibility of my husband. Exactly, Ashwini, thank you for the question. She also writes, I can't understand my husband. Yes. So Ashwini, you need to develop this, you need to heal your unhealthy feminine, and masculine. And many of the processes that we can use in order to heal the masculine and feminine, there are many ways, friends, to heal these energies. So sometimes you can sometimes you can do this inner child work to heal the masculine feminine, because our connection with our mother and father is very important when we are looking into relationships. How is our connection with them? So you can do that. Sometimes we have a soul fragment, sometimes it's like broken. We are somewhere, we don't feel very whole, right? So we can do some soul fragmentation work. Sometimes we can look into the family background, like the family tree. Sometimes it is coming from there is a disbalance in the masculine feminine energy from generations, maybe 7 generations, maybe before that, right? So we can have different ways in order to heal this. So Ashwini, you can work on your inner feminine and masculine. I think you can start working with the child aspect of you and heal your relation with your mother and father first. When I say heal your relation, I'm talking about this, this love connection from your heart to your mother and your father. See if what you get there, and maybe you can work with your connection with them. When you connect to heal those relationships, then maybe you can look into other things, like as I said, sometimes it's coming from womb. Sometimes there is the mother and father, they are expecting a boy or a girl, and if there is a girl in the womb and they are expecting for a boy, there could be a rejection in the gender. Sometimes we feel rejected feeling, insecure. So see where these things are coming from. So this reminds me of reflecting on few things, like I'll give you some example, friends, how the gender conflict might happen, right? So gender conflict can happen, as I said, in the womb rejection, right? Sometimes in the womb there is as I said, the parent is expecting a different gender, and the child is different. So then the child feels, I'm rejected. Femininity is rejected. To be a female is not okay. So the child starts growing out to be a more of a masculine, right? And then there could be sibling comparisons. Sometimes boys are given more preferences than girls. So the girl, as a child, understand it's not good to be a girl, it's good to be a boy. So I better start, behaving like a boy. That is more better. And sometimes it is absence of a parent. Sometimes the boy requires the father for becoming a man, right? For some reason, if the father is not available, this energy is missing. So maybe for that reason, the boy would be not very comfortable with the masculine part, because he's growing more with the female, more with the mother. He will start developing more feminine traits, right? So, or any trauma from the past lives or the inner child, as I said, the family tree, any disbalance of the male or female can happen in case of gender conflict, right? So this is about gender. Okay, I'm just reading a few more questions. Okay, so let me see here. I'm going to answer the questions. Possibly, if not answered, I'm going to reply all your questions. I'll take time later to reply it. I'm just now seeing what else I have to share so that we all can benefit together here, right? So just give me a minute here, friends. I'm just running down my list if I have shared everything. Okay, now let us come into the concept of sexuality, friends. This is the subject we are going to talk about. So if you have seen small babies, the way they giggle, the way, we don't see any shame in them. Without clothes, they are happy, giggling, moving hands, right? Shame has not entered them. So we need to question ourselves, friends. When did this shame entered our life? Or if it's something deeper than shame, when did this guilt about sexuality has entered in my life. And what makes us feel shameful? Because what is a sexual energy? It is like what we call prana, what we call chi, what we call the universal energy. There is, you can divide energy in a lot of categories, but it's just one energy. It's Shakti, right? Kundalini Shakti, right? So when the energy is flowing from down to up, it is this, this creative, this spiritual energy that we talk about, right? When it's flowing down, it is creating babies. So the movement of the energy makes it what it is, right? So there is nothing wrong with sexual energy, right? What we need to know or understand is our beliefs about sexual energy. That is where we need to question, friends. So, for example, sometimes, when our, let's say, the sexuality is rejected, what can lead to sexual rejection? I'll share a few examples, right? So it could be sexuality can be rejected when there is a sexual trauma in the past, or there is something like a guilt or a shame coming from the past. It could be, when I say past, it could be from the childhood, from past lives, from generations. So we need to look back, where, why am I not comfortable with sexuality, or why am I numb about sexuality, or why am I over enthusiastic, or like, nowadays the pornography industry is, it's one of the, it's the greatest industry, right? So what is it, why are people going into that? What is this obsession, right? Where is it coming from? I need to look into the past, right? So this, when there is a sexual rejection, it could be lack of self-esteem and self-confidence, right? It could come from repeated sexual rejection in the past. It could be coming from a sexual shutdown, something which had some very deep person I have lost in my life, right? It could be that grief, sexual shutdown can happen through that also. And if a person is in a high state of victimhood, then also, there could be a sexual rejection or a shutdown, right? And soul contracts leading to woes of celibacy. Sometimes past lives, I had these kind of past lives where, I had taken vows of not getting into a sexual act, becoming a monk, right? So you need to see if there is some inhibition, if there is some restriction that is there with the sexual energy, where is it coming from? So we need to look into the past and process this energy, friends. So there are different ways in the workshop that I'm doing in Kolkata. Whatever I'm discussing, it will be more on an elaborative manner, because it's more about going into an experience, your inner experience on working with these things, so that you will be able to release it. Okay, so what can we do in a case of a let's say a sexual shutdown? Okay, I think there are a few questions. Let me just read out. Ashwini is again asking, Abhi is asking a question. Abhi says, sir, what is the logic behind feminine principle being more intuitive, since masculine feminine is only physical and intuitiveness is not? So Abhi, this logic, this is what I was talking about. It is not about a logic, right? Logic is a masculine attribute, right? Perhaps you are using a lot of masculine attribute in understanding it, right? So perhaps you need to come to your left brain more. Okay, maybe if you still have confusion, we can still talk about it in the comment line. Okay, and Ashwini asks, most of what you suggest, I agree with it, and I can relate to inner child and family tree. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ashwini, for your feedback. We are all learning from each other. Great. So now, friends, let me see here. How much time do we have? Like, it's like 1.5 hours. and we can still go further. Okay, now I was let's go into like a story. Yeah, let's now listen to a story. Story in a sense, because I can share stories because I get to work with a lot of people. So about this gender rejection, friends, I had a case, where this man, he's a very happy man. He's married, and he came to me. He had kids, everything, and he came to me saying that, sir, I am a man. I know I'm a man, but at times I get into a very feminine mode, right? And when my wife is not there at home, I like to dress like a woman, right? And I'm very ashamed about it. I'm not very open about it. Now, friends, here you need to understand, it's not like a transgender case, right? He is saying he's ashamed. He's not accepting that behavior in him, and he wants to get rid of it. That's the reason he came to the session, right? So he basically wants to act, more as a male, right? So he does not want to act as a female, right? He's shameful about it. So when we started working, we found at the age of 4, friends, what happened. He had a fair in his school, like something like Go As You Like, right? And what his parents did is, his parents made him dressed in a frock kind of thing, right? And when he came to the school, he was very happy that, he came, he becoming something, but everybody made fun of him that he's wearing a frock, right? So somewhere he he has imbibed that feeling, that block. He has actually completely forgotten about this incident, right? But that incident left left a deep impression that, I am a girl's, I am a girl somewhere, like the way people have commented him that time, right? So when he remembered that memory, that 4 years old, could cry it out about that shame and that guilt that was taken by that little child at 4 years old, right? And he could release this part from him, right? So this is one case study. And another thing which I can share is about uh, this medical student who came to me about his obsession with sexuality. And I appreciate him for talking openly to me. He told me that he had this very obsessive nature on about sexuality. And he says that it is disturbing my studies, sir. I want to get rid of this thing. So when we started working, friends, what we found is there is a lot of guilt that he's holding from his past, right? So we went through numerous section. I'm not going to describe everything, but what was at the core was a deep guilt he was holding from a past incident, right? So when we were able to work on that guilt and we could release that guilt, his obsession came down. So, and he started enjoying other things. So, friends, it says, there's a quote. It says, when Buddha became enlightened, he became sexual all over. It's a beautiful understanding. What does it mean? When Buddha became enlightened, he became sexual all over. That means his energy was scattered through his entire body equally everywhere. Otherwise, what happens is, this sexual energy is only constricted at that sacral. Sometimes it just pushes the sacral, right? And not only it spread towards the entire body. It says wherever Buddha used to sit, 10 miles in the radius, like 10 miles, people used to sense that deep peacefulness that Buddha is sitting there, right? So this is what this sexual energy, this shakti, is all about. When we raise this shakti, we can do wonders. Even if you read I was talking the other day about the Egyptian uh, texts. If you go into the ancient text, you will see how they they had devised various ways to restore the sexual energy, right? They had many exercises to do that, and perhaps that's the reason, they were so intuitive. They were so advanced culture. They could build a pyramid of Giza through the use of this energy, right? They were, we can read this, friends. There is a lot of documentation available if you want to know more about it. Okay, so let's see if there are more questions. No, I don't see any more questions here. So let us now understand this sexual shutdown and how we can come out of it. So I'm going to give you more tools now, friends, so that you understand how we can release, sexual guilt or anything to do with gender and sexuality. So first thing I would say is embrace your shadow. So when we look into our psyche, the subconscious part through inner sadhana, we will see many shadow parts of ourselves. For example, I'm Aditya. I want to be this, this, this. For example, I want to look smart. I want to talk smart. I want to be a good communicator. But then I don't want to look at the part which is bad in me. For example, I'm an angry person. So I'm saying, oh, Aditya is not this angry person. Aditya is just the good part, right? So what is happening? I am rejecting my shadow part, right? So embracing this shadow part is important, friends, because we need to go one step further. If I don't embrace that anger, what is the alchemy of anger? There I am also losing something. I am losing how strength. The alchemy of anger is strength. So when I accept my anger and I can hold my anger in my consciousness, being without any judgment, right? Not judging myself, not rejecting it, this anger will turn into strength, right? So you can do this exercise, friends, embracing your shadows. I taught you the polarity exercise. You can try that. You can do some mirror exercise, right? Mirror exercise are very, very helpful in order to accept sexuality and gender. Sometimes looking at our body, in the mirror, and looking closely at every body part, not judging ourselves. Sometimes we can do it with our clothes off, right? Seeing the bare body in the mirror, right? So first, friends, in sexuality, it's important that we develop an intimate relation with ourselves first before we develop it with any other person, right? So body work is also very important in order to heal sexual shutdown. Like, our body stores, blocks at different places, and sometimes the sexual energy is not very smooth, running. It is getting locked at certain portion of the body. So body work and releasing loaded trauma from the body is important, right? So one of the very easy way I suggest people to go for massages, hot tub bath, to take care of the body, exercising sometimes. And if it's like very deep, you need like a therapist to work over, those traumas. Okay. And sometimes energy healing of the chakras, aligning of the chakras, very important in a sexual shutdown, right? Sometimes the soul fragment is there. There is some trauma that has happened in the past that has caused a deep pain to the soul, and the soul is fragmented, right? So then also there is a trauma. Then we also need to do like an energetic divorce with our with all the sexual partners that we had, or any partner that we had. We keep hanging into these relationships, and what happens is we lose energy. There is some partner I'm attracted to, there is some relation still not closed. So all these energies needs to be energetically cleared, friends, right? Otherwise we are wasting energy. We also need to know how to conserve this energy, right? So another way is to heal the yin and yang, right? So the yin and yang balancing, to do more acts that are related to yin and yang, and see where my deficiency is. Am I high on yin, high on yang, or high on yin yang both, or low on yin yang both, right? So like that we can heal ourselves. We can also recode with the energy field. So as I said, sexual energy is nothing but the universal energy. We can tune back into the universal energy, friends. The best way to do it is with meditation. Very, very important part. It heals and it makes you in tune with the universal energy, right? And you can release the karmic debris. If it's a lot of huge karma is there at the back, sometimes it is very hard to the energy to move in the body because of different blocks in the body. So you're not flowing, you're not able to move. So it's like energy needs to flow in the body freely, right? So activate your truest potential, or you can return to the blueprint of the soul. There are many times we take people into the blueprint of the soul, and they recall, as souls, they recall what is the blueprint I came with on earth, right? And they remember those purpose, and they could release all at once. Sometimes the entire karma is dropped at once when they remember the karmic, the blueprint of the soul, right? So there are many ways to reprogram the DNA, friends. There is something called epigenetics. It's not hereditary but epigenetics. Sometimes the genetics, they take the emotions of our past lives or of our ancestors, and the DNA starts behaving like that. So we need to reprogram or let go of those emotions, and reprogram our DNAs, right? So, and releasing vows and curses from our energetic body. If there is some vows or curses given back sometimes, so we can release them. And highest level of self-acceptance, self-love, we need to practice that. uh, and rescripting your new reality. So all through this work, what we will do, we will re-script our reality. And the more we are getting detached with this physical plane, the more we are connecting to the other plane, to the Shiva, right? So friends, any questions you may want to let me know. Let me just scroll down and see. There are many questions, and if I didn't answer any of them, I'm going to do that after this recording. Okay. Okay, so friends, I'll just give you now a brief about the syllabus of Divine Union, what we are doing in the workshop. So basically, the workshop is more experiential, as I said, and it's less of theory. There would be many processes connecting to the universal mother and the universal father, healing the connection with our mother and father through that connection, and then tapping into the inner feminine and masculine. So it's more of an experiential process that we would be doing. There would be many exercises connect to the inner feminine. There would be exercises to connect to the inner masculine, right? There would be something called there would be an introduction to Vigyan Bhairava Tantra, which is a beautiful book to read. If any of you want to read the book, or want a link, because there is a beautiful website, you can get all the information there and learn various techniques. You can ping me, I can give you the link. Okay. And then we learn alchemy of polarity. There's a beautiful process in the workshop where we know how to create alchemy. Like, for example, if I'm feeling jealous, I'm jealous of my neighbor, and I always keep telling myself, I shouldn't feel jealous. I'm a divine soul, I should not feel jealous. But if we can contain the jealousy in us, not judging it, right? What we can do is, we can turn this jealousy into an appetite, right? Why am I jealous? Because I want something. I have a good appetite. That's the reason I'm jealous, right? So everything has like an alchemy. Okay, I have a question here, and it's asking how can the workshop be beneficial? Okay, yeah, so the workshop would be beneficial in order for you to heal your relationship with yourself, to heal your relation with others. To the most important thing is to come into this balance, friends. We need to know how to balance ourselves. Most of the time, we are not aware, we are not present, we are not accepting ourselves. We are mostly in the rejection mode, right? So how to accept things which are very hard to accept sometimes in our life, right? But they are there, right? You can't push it away. So you would be healing your feminine, inner femininity, you're healing your inner masculinity, and you will know how to balance. You will know what is this inner marriage. There's a beautiful process we'll do about the inner marriage, about first tapping into that inner masculine and inner feminine, and then about this marriage where you feel whole, right? So this workshop is about being whole. It's to be more empowered. It's to gain more energy. Most of the time we do feel a lack of energy, so we need to know where am I losing my energy. So you know how to build boundaries. You know where am I leaking my energies, how to seal those taps, right? Where am I leaking the energy, right? So these are the things. And then you will learn how to manifest using sexuality. It's a beautiful process, friends, which I would be sharing in the workshop. It's like a step-by-step process, and how you can use sexuality in a more conscious, in a more aware way. When sexuality and consciousness or awareness meets, you know it's very, very powerful, and we can practice it. There are many methods to do that. Then we will be doing 7 chakra cleansing to enhance sexual life. And I would be giving out many sexual techniques for men and women. Separately, they can practice these techniques in order to have a beautiful sexual life. And of course, there are much more things that we would be discovering in the workshop. There will be many interactions, right? And many stories, and we'll be learning from each other. Right now, just I'm talking because there's no other way. But workshop is a very beautiful setup where different things starts coming up, and people, there's a different energy about being in a workshop. I feel just being a part of these kind of powerful workshop, it brings us a shift, friends. It's not about just learning mentally, friends. It's about coming out of those energetic, mm, you know, uh, I would say those those energies which are pulling us down, right? We need to clear these. So it's about like healing us energetically. So I think workshop is a great way. Otherwise, there are many other ways which you can um, learn these things. I can refer you a few books also, which are there. Like you can always, I strongly recommend the book Sex to Superconsciousness by Osho. You can read many books of Osho, and there's master called Mantak Chia and David Deda, So Vigyan Bhairava Tantra, you can know many kind of exercises through that. Um, so let me know if there are any other questions. And I think we are about close to our session. We are almost done. So maybe we will just end with a meditation, because meditation is very important, friends. These techniques, these dynamics works best in meditation. I feel meditation is where our consciousness is awake, is alert. It's the masculine quality, and the body is relaxed, the mind is calm, right? It's a feminine quality, and these two things merge in meditation, right? So just through meditation, we can balance these two energies. So we'll end with a meditation. I'll just see if somebody has posted any question. For a male, is it normal to be attracted to female? Should it be shunned if he knows it cannot lead to a logical end? How can one deal with such a situation? Okay. Abhi, I think it's more about, again, on the logical front. There is some unclarity about your question, there's something more hidden, maybe something you need to dig deeper in to understand this attraction. So there is a difference between attraction and love, right? So you need to possibly question that. Is it like just an attraction? Because it's okay to have an attraction, it's a nice feeling, and it's absolutely okay to feel attracted. You always feel good when you see a rose. So there's nothing wrong when you see a beautiful woman. um, but would it lead to something is a different question, because you are digging deeper to understand, is it what kind of feeling you are having towards that woman, right? So I think I have answered you, maybe not. If not, I did that partly. Okay. So friend, just 5 minutes, maybe we can end this session with some meditation. Okay, I invite you to join this meditation. Just becoming very, very relaxed. Just sit down for a few minutes before we end this session. It's a good way to end the session. Close your eyes, cross your legs, cross your hands, and close your eyes. Let your attention be with the breath. With a sense of gratitude to this day, today, to this meeting that we had. I'm very grateful for whoever joined us today to this good energy. Thanking you everyone, thanking Chainika, Self and Beyond. Just focus on your breath, friends. Let us meditate together. Wherever we are connected energetically, focusing on the calm, relaxed, cool, effortless, tranquil, soft, natural breath. Being one with the breath, being aware of the breath. Awareness is the masculine quality. And let the awareness watch the body, the mind, the emotions, which is the feminine, the Shakti, come attributes. The mind, the emotion, the thoughts, the body, the sensations. We are all in meditation. Such an important aspect of our daily practice. Be with your breath, my friends. Such a beautiful thing is just to be with the breath and relax. union of Shiva and Shakti. Within. Just becoming one with the breath. Shiva becoming one with Shakti. Focusing, observing the breath. No thoughts, no emotion. Is this nothing state? State of pure awareness. Just another 2 minutes, friends. Being in the beautiful energy field. Accepting both the polarities. Another 1 minute. Being in this pure awareness. Okay, friends. At the count of 1, you can start slowly coming back. 5, 4, 3, relaxed. 3, coming back with this balance. 2, and 1. Okay, friends, I think it's time for us now to say goodbye. We can all still be connected, right? And thank you, Chanika is saying thank you. Yes, Chanika, thank you very much, even for your presence, for everyone's presence here. Thank you for taking this time to be here. Uh, and I enjoyed interacting with you all, and hope we meet sometime soon. Okay, friends, have a wonderful evening. Have a great meditation, maybe before you sleep, to balance, and we'll see each other soon. Okay, good night, and thank you.